Monstrous creatures transformed by radiation. Paranormal beings that were harbingers of the Chernobyl disaster. A creepy beast that could be hiding among the ruins of this abandoned city. These are 5 strange beings seen in Chernobyl. Number 5. A paranormal place. Since the Chernobyl nuclear accident, the once populated and upper-middle-class city has turned into forgotten ruins. Many curious people try to approach this place, but radiation is a great incentive to keep them away. However, technology seems to have given urban explorers the tools they need to uncover disturbing secrets in this part of the world. One of the most emblematic and mysterious cases was started by a user who took advantage of Google Earth and its Street View functionality to access the ruins of the old post office in Pripyat, Ukraine. In this abandoned place, you can see traces of decay. Here, life has come to a complete halt, and nature seems to be encroaching on the once vibrant city. However, as we go deeper into the different spaces of the post office, we discover that there's something that doesn't fit. Have you seen it? Look closely. As the camera pans, a supernatural figure appears on the windowsill. Its uniform body seems to rise without anything holding it up, almost as if it were floating. Its face is completely hidden and it raises its hand pointed at us. It seems to know that we are watching it. This disturbing image has captivated the attention of thousands of people who have made great comments about it on the internet. There are many stories about the souls in pain that could be housed in this ghost town, and the findings like these only make us think that perhaps they aren't fantastic theories, but an authentic reality. Number 4. Creatures in the river. Moving on to another less supernatural but equally chilling terrain, we come across the abundant rivers around Chernobyl. The enormous contamination resulting from the nuclear reactor catastrophe had a powerful impact on the environment, and even today, there are still signs of it. A clear and alarming example is what has happened to animals, especially fish, which have suffered considerable deformities in their size and characteristics since the accident occurred. Some researchers who have approached the area have extracted samples of the most terrifying creatures you can imagine. Many remain lodged at the bottom of the lake, far from the human eye, although some brave people dare to look for them from time to time. Such is the case of Jeremy Wade, host of Animal Planet's River Monsters program. He and his team had traveled to the waters of Chernobyl to hunt down some amazing creatures and show them to their viewers. To do so, the team approached one of the streams closest to the Chernobyl reactor cooling area. There, thanks to various radiation measuring equipment, they managed to catch several catfish and other fish. They all looked normal, perhaps a little larger than usual, but none of them had 3 eyes or 4 mouths. At first glance, that might have been a disappointment, but when they used their devices, they discovered something disturbing. The fish's bodies had between 50 and 70% radiation. Their organs were severely deteriorated, and their life expectancy had reduced to less than half that of the regular average. No doubt, this monstrous find wasn't what everyone expected, but it's still just as surprising and scary. Nature seems to bear the brunt of the human-caused disaster and chaos. Number 3. Before the chaos. Another of the most chilling creatures ever recorded at Chernobyl was sighted after the disaster just a few days before it happened. Although it may sound surprising, we're talking about what many have baptized as the Chernobyl blackbird or the Mothman, a strange humanoid that appeared in different parts of the city a week before the nuclear accident. Those who managed to see it claimed that it was a headless and had a dark body, the color of wet earth, although it seemed to have 2 red lights on its chest, like a pair of demonic eyes. Many who sighted this creature had horrendous nightmares for several days. Others became ill, and most traveled out of town for several days, as they felt a heavy and disturbing atmosphere in the places where they lived. Within a few days, the accident occurred and radiation spread throughout the place. Even so, months after the accident, many continued to spot this monstrous creature, which has been pointed to as a harbinger of chaos and a clear omen that something horrific was about to happen. Number 2. Mutant butterflies. Radiation can have multiple effects on animals. We still don't know many of them, but researchers at the Biosphere Reserve for Radiation and Ecology in Ukraine seem to be close to showing us the true horrors of this tragedy. This team is in charge of monitoring the Chernobyl exclusion zone, an area of approximately 30 kilometers in which there's so much radiation that a human being can only be there for 5 hours a day. It was in this confusing and surprising habitat that they found something chilling. It's a mutant butterfly, a strange beast as big as a bird with the wings of a hawk. Some scientists have claimed that this butterfly belongs to the species Catocala fraxini, also known as the blue-winged butterfly. However, the radiation seems to have had negative effects on this European creature, as its size has surpassed that of the rest of its relatives, and it has become a real Chernobyl monster. Those who have had some kind of contact with it seem to be truly fascinated. Radiation meters indicate that this creature has large doses of contamination, although no further information about this or any other beast from the Chernobyl restriction zone is currently available. Number 1. An Enigmatic Story. Not all the stories coming out of Chernobyl speak of common mutations. There's also room for enigmatic facts and stories that we find hard to believe, but which are still part of the day-to-day lives of many people, especially the victims who were affected by the alleged attack of the next creature on the list. This story is short and to the point. Several kilometers from Chernobyl, the inhabitants of a small town were attacked by an unexplained creature. At first, the victims were animals, who woke up without a drop of blood and with bites caused by large fangs. Later, the victims were humans. First, it was a man, who appeared dead in the middle of an alley. As it happened with the animals, his body didn't have a single drop of blood on it, and he had a bite on his neck. Only 2 small yellowish dots. The same thing happened to a 13-year-old girl who was found in the same circumstances in an elevator. Several investigations tried to solve this enigma, but there was no answer, not even a single suspect, until now. A user in the area seems to have managed to capture footage of a strange creature hiding among the abandoned ruins of Pripyat. The video shows a monstrous creature, a real movie vampire, which sleeps soundly without paying any attention to the intruder. The source behind these images has never been confirmed, nor does it seem to be the answer to the multiple murders recorded in the city bordering Pripyat. However, most of its inhabitants seem to be convinced that there's some veracity to it and point to him as the one clearly responsible for what happened. At the moment, the conclusion of this fact is in your hands. But before deciding whether this story is real or not, perhaps you may be interested in knowing other impossible creatures, beings from another world, creepy beasts that have been captured by the human eye and have surpassed all those who doubted their existence. If you're willing to face them, then let us take you to the heart of the unknown and get ready to be amazed by the following videos.